Hey T. Hi
Hello.
Mayor.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Hello,
shalom.
Susan.
We promised to hold up the
Hi.
challah.
Thank you.
How are
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
you? You too, Elaine and Elaine.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom from Lauren and David.
Look at your
Hello,
beautiful
Lauren,
table.
David. Look at you guys.
Wow, you guys are ready. You are ready.
Well, I like that. Looks like a group. Oh, was that happy birthday? Thank you.
The flowers you gave, you dropped off are still beautiful. They're
Gorgeous.
gracing our table. So there'll be a little bit of singing before the candles. So don't ignite a match
You
yet.
can
We are at the ready. We planned it all.
I see. This is going to be like very well orchestrated.
David, what were you going to say, David?
I'm not going to say
Hey
anything.
Jen.
I know better.
That's funny.
Silly.
What did you do for your birthday?
Oh, it's such a great day. It was such a great day. I woke up, first of all, to a table full of presents,
Oh,
full of cards,
Well, that's good.
and then a great breakfast. And then we went to
Watch
the
video.
Oh, right. And my family sent all these videos in 5-10 minute messages,
oh.
beautiful hour-long video that Gavi in Jerusalem organized with a lot
Well,
of
that's
support.
nice.
And then we went out and spent 2 hours on the beach.
Ooh.
And then we came home,
Nice.
basically have a family Zoom. So it was great.
That's
Great.
great. Yay,
Baby.
mazel tov.
We saw these great
Good. Glad you had a good day.
Hi,
Ed Ginsberg.
Zarens.
Hello, Ron Crown, Linda, Donna, Anne. Okay.
Good evening, Cantor.
Hello.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So, as we
Welcome.
are aware, this is an exciting Shabbat for us, Feldmanim, us Feld people.
Feldmanim,
To
that's a new
share
one.
the virtual pulpit. So, without further ado, we're going to begin with a nigun offered by Cantor Davis, who will be here in body very, very, very,
Next
very
Shabbat,
soon.
God willing, we'll all be here together, and obviously a lot more to come the coming. But Cantor Adam, why don't we launch us, Cantor Adam?
All right. Well, as I'm sure you noticed, I'm in my apartment still, and I'm looking very much forward to being in Great Neck with all of you very soon. I'm very pleased to be here in Zoom land with you. However, right now I'm still in Maryland for just a couple more days until Shabbat ends, and then me and everything that I hold, well, not everything that I hold dear, but everything that I have, is gonna come with me up to the land of Nex.
That's funny.
And it's an unknown journey into a place I've only visited but not lived. So many necks to visit. There's Great Necks and Little Necks and Middle Necks and No Necks and someplace called T-Neck. I don't even know where that is. But I'm looking forward to journeying. I guess it's northeast from where I am now. Although you on Long Island would think of it as being kind of west, right? West Long Island. Right, so it seems appropriate then that we would start with a nigun into the west, because to quote the great Hebrew poet Yehuda Halevi, though my heart is in the east, I am in the uttermost west. you've been this week, whether you've been sitting at home or on your patio, or maybe you've already gone back into work, I want you to picture as the sun travels into the west. And as it does so, we begin our journey into Shabbat and a time of rest. And so I want you to picture your journey from the time of work into that time of rest, and how beautiful and sweet it's going to be. Here's that sweet part.
All right. Wow. First of all, I want to just say to dear Cantor Adam, what a joy it is to have these first moments with you. For all the rest of you, Adam and Tara and I have spent a lot of hours together via Zoom. And those many hours have already brought enormous blessing and connection and curiosity and great like brainstorming together, doing a ton of work together. And it's such an amazing, wonderful thing, Cantor Adam, to have the first moments of feeling your presence and your connectedness, your beautiful voice. I have something of a tradition, Adam, that I like to start mini services with a few corny jokes. And, since this is July 4th weekend, I think that the humor I'm bringing is all connected to Independence Day. So Stu or Greg, if I can ask you to, put up the one little image that I shared, that I provided to you. First one, isn't it funny that red, white, and blue represent freedom? Unless, of course, they're flashing behind you. But what do you call tea? That can go down, Stu. What do you call tea that tastes like freedom? Liberty. Ha, ha, ha. Without freedom of speech, we would never know who the idiots are. Why are there, last one, why are there no knock-knock jokes about America? Because freedom rings, ding. All right. I don't always tell these little one-liners like this, but it's Independence Day and July 4th weekend. And it does strike me though that my kind of this silly, goofy piece of me that likes starting with freedom. I'm thinking about laughing in Hebrew. The word in Hebrew for to laugh, litzchok. In English, you can say to laugh, and what happens when we laugh? We smile. But in English, those two words are not connected. To laugh and smile. There's not, I don't think, any, etymological connection. In Hebrew, though, they're totally connected. So there's something about this connection that makes me think of you, Adam, that you have this way of being really connected to yourself, to the to the moments that we're working on, to funny things, to serious things, to meaningful things. And I just appreciate that quality, one of many. And it's a good thing. It's a nice thing to try to start with a little bit of a laugh and humor as we start Shabbat.
And we're going to bring in some light, as we always do. And so it's our honor to have Lauren Chartan and David Kleiman light their Shabbat candles with us. You are great bringers of lights, thinking of so many moments we've shared. And now this one, go for it.
You have to unmute yourself.
She,
Thank you for the opportunity for voice and mic.
thank you guys.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu lahag lek ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Amen.
And welcome to Cantor Adam.
Davis.
Davis.
He'll let us know what he
Lauren-
prefers.
David and Lauren, you guys bring a lot of light in your lives, into our lives, and into the world. So thank you for this.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for letting us light the way for the kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Wonderful. All
Thank
right.
you. Shabbat.
Into Lechu Neranana on page 13.
Thank you for those sweet words, and let us continue and let us go and sing praises. Lecho neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzur yishenu, nekadma fana betoda, bizmirod nariya lo, ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim, asher beyado mechakre haaretz, v'toachot harim lo, v'toachot harim lo. We continue on page 13 as we sing a new song. And every week we have the chance to sing a new song. And this actually may not be a new song, but maybe it's new this week. So let's try it. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth unto God a new song. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. And as we continue to sing, we should also acknowledge all of the musicians as well. We should use some instrumentation. And so if you'd continue on to Psalm 95 on page 16, the second half, we'll sing Zamru l'Adonai bechinor. And I'm actually going to capo. There we go. Make it a little bit more singable. Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor lekol zimra, חצוצרות וקול שופר. הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הימום לו, תבל ויושבי בה, נהרות ימחה וכף יחד, הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני כי היווה, כי תשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במישרים, ירם הימום לו, תבל ויושבי בה, נהרות ימחה וכף יחד, הרים ירננו. And as we continue our praises, our psalms, we'll continue on the following page 17. At the bottom of the page, if you're following along, the final stanzas of Psalm 95. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu vehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu vehakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu vehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu vehakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Woo! Okay, I could hear you clapping. I could hear all that clapping. Continue our journey through the Psalms as we go to the end of Psalm 29.
I can just add, Adam, seeing each other clapping, actually, it feels like something. So don't be shy.
It is something. That's the instruments of our bodies, and we pray with all of our souls and all of our might, right? Adonai hoz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo. Adonai hoz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo. Shalom. יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
Our sages teach that you can have all the blessings in the world, but unless you have shalom, wholeness, peace, you can't hold the blessings. Shalom is the container that enables us to hold them. So that's really the work of Shabbat, is to hold ourselves like a cup and to let ourselves be filled. So we move now to the Chadodi. And when we arrive at that last verse, we'll be inviting anyone who's able, who wishes to rise. We're on page 20.
Our sages
Adam, you're
Oh,
muted.
I muted you by accident. I was trying
and
to.
now, by the magic of the internet, I am unmuted. Ah ha ha!
Go, you started to say our sages.
Our sages, the Kabbalists even, taught us that Shabbat is a wedding, a marriage between our people and the eternal. And they composed this, well, one of them composed this piyut, this liturgical poem, to celebrate that sense of union. And so I thought it might be nice, if we're celebrating a wedding, we should have a little waltz, I think. La 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 lecha dodi, la 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 lekra kala, la 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 panei Shabbat, panei Shabbat nekabela, shamor vezachor, bediבור echad, ishemiyah. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litilah. Yalalai, yalalai lecha dodi, yalalai lekra kala, yalalai panei Shabbat, panei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאללה לי לך אדוני, יאללה לי לקראת קלה, יאללה לי פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. We're skipping to verse 4. I'm sorry, verse 5. Itoreri, kiva orech, kumi ori, shir daveri, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla. Yalalai lecha adoni, yalalai likra kala, yalalai panei Shabbat, panei Shabbat nekabela. And now if you're comfortable, rise to your feet. Otherwise, rise in your hearts as we welcome Shabbat. בואי ושלום. עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, הללי, לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 לקרא כלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבל, לה 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 לך דודי, לה 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 נקרא כלה, לה 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 בני שבת נקבלה.
So as we have done in the past couple Shabbatot, we are going to do the social experiment of breakout rooms. So it actually is a wonderful chance for us to mix with people that we might not normally have approached if we were actually in this room. So you'll be put in breakout rooms for about 6 minutes. And I definitely invite everyone to introduce themselves, say their name. And the question I want you to think about is new beginnings. Share a new beginning in your life. Past could be long time in the past, or something that's coming up, or something in the middle. But what was an important new beginning? Because certainly for us as a clergy team, this is a blessed new beginning. So talk about new beginnings and introduce yourself. See you soon.
Greg and Stu, you
What about this?
We did
Nice to
that.
see everyone, or people.
Nice seeing you.
Hi, Frank. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, we're back.
So
Good
why
to
are we
see you.
looking at this screen?
Frank. Hi, Stuart. Hi, Dana. Lena.
Why does it say TV tech?
To bring the spirit of shalom to earth.
Left to our own devices.
Okay, everyone. Our worship space. We are going to turn to Shalom Aleichem. It's on page 24. Welcoming in the Shabbat angels. Maybe you got to see some Shabbat angels in your breakout room. We had a few. And let's see if we can find, is Cantor Davis with us? I hear him. There he is. Like magic.
I got to see some Shabbat angels. I got to see some new faces and some faces some names of people whose faces I hadn't seen yet, and even some friends from Chicago. Talk about angels that guide us on our way. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Turning now to page 28 and rising, if we are able, or simply spiritually, we join together in the call for prayer, the Baruch Hu.
Lai, 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 la, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 la, la, lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, 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 ya, lai, 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 lai. Ya, lai, 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 ya, lai, 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 ya, lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai la lai, yai lai lai lai, yai la lai 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 lai.
Page 31. Together, if you have a Siddur. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, from whom the evening flows.
Baruch Adonai, Adonai, Hamari v'aravi. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Page 32. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu lemadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu V'shofeinu v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chokecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki hein chayenu Ve'yorech yameinu, ve'yorech yameinu, uvahen neged yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. We're on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי ויתן קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Well, we've been cruising through this service, quite a journey it's been already. And we spoke a little bit earlier about journeys. And before the service, we actually had a little bit of a journey moment. The clergy know what I'm talking about. don't stop, Shabbat. Anyways, more of that on Purim, I think. But this is a journey that we're all on, and we've been on. And journeys, sometimes we have a roadmap, but often, as you'll find on journeys, we take detours off that roadmap, expected and unexpected, and you're never sure where life is going to take you. And in the history of our people, there was that great moment when they found themselves on the first steps of their journey and quite unsure of what lay ahead. They knew what lay behind them. That was Egypt, the place they were leaving and the army from which they were running. And in front of them, the Reed Sea. And what would happen next was not for certain. And I can say to you that the journey that I'm on, while it's a wonderful and blessed one to be joining TBE, Temple Beth-El, and the family there, everyone who's been so gracious in greeting me so far, it's been lovely. Even as wonderful as that is, there's still a degree of uncertainty. And there's always uncertainty. We've all been experiencing it for the last 6 months. And it's something that we have to learn to live with and to grapple with. I'm certainly, I'm very aware of it. And while you see the very nice backdrop, the clean wall and the guitars on display that are in frame, what you don't see is the chaos of moving boxes and all the detritus of one's life that surrounds me. And so I'm struck by this contrast that we have the need to feel like we're putting on a brave face, and yet we're not really certain what's happening. And we all deal with that from day to day, from week to week in our lives, no matter where we are in our journey. And our people dealt with that at the beginning of their journey, and every day we have the opportunity to face that struggle anew. One of my favorite characters in all of the Torah is the prince of the tribe of Judah at the time of the crossing of the Reed Sea, at which point we're at not only in my story, but in the service as well. And according to Midrash, when Moses raised his staff, as was instructed by the Eternal, to make the waters part, nothing happened. And that's actually a great allegory, because we can pray as much as we want, but prayer only gets us halfway there. I read that this week in something. Prayer only gets us halfway there, a Hasidic Rebbe taught. The rest depends on us. We have to take action as well. There's that great adage, pray as if everything depended on God and act as though everything depended on us. And so when we're faced with a journey, when we're faced with the unknown, we have to take that first step forward. And that prince of Judah, who's got a great name, by the way, Nachshon ben Aminadav. What a name, right? I mean, if I could walk around with Ben Aminadav, I might. But Davis is a little easier to pronounce. It fits on a business card a little better. Email address is easier. But Nachshon was the one who, when the staff was raised and the waters didn't part, Nachshon took that step forward. He took one step at a time until the water was up to here. And that's when the waters parted, because he showed faith, not just in God, but that his actions were going to be part of the solution as well. So as we face our journeys and things that are unknown, we have to often take that first step and move forward with faith that God will help us and that we will also help us. So we're singing Micha Mocha, which is on page 250. 40, thank you, because my book actually fell and I have to find it. So 40. So this is a familiar melody for some of you. And when I turn to those moments of uncertainty and I pray, I recognize that there are miracles. And I ask the Eternal, who is like you? Adonai, who is like you? Adonai. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. Who is like you? מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מהחזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
So we now turn to 43, and this reading includes a prayer for protection against life storms. And as we read this, Mayor and I get to hear the amazing sound, if you've ever been in the Rudin Chapel, when there's rain pounding on the roof. It's actually a beautiful sound. Everything's really dry.
Does everyone hear it?
It's a...
You feel the rain all over Great Neck?
So we are sheltered in this chapel space and sheltered in this community. So join with me, if you will, on 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום. שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל. והירושלים ועל כל עמו. והירושלים שלום. והירושלים ועל כל עמו. והירושלים שלום. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום. שלום עלינו
now going to move ahead to our Amidah. So that begins on page 46. Please rise as you're able as we offer this prayer of personal petition before God.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol, atah rav lehoshia, morid hatal. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, בחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בגבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently for a few moments of personal prayer. Bridging now into our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing can be found on page 253. If there's any names for healing that you'd like to put on the chat, please do so. And of course, mention them in your hearts. Mishaberach.
Mishaberach avotenu mekol habracha of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheverach imotenu mekol habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Beautiful. So let them eat cake. You're probably familiar with this quote. It's attributed to Marie Antoinette, Queen of France, upon learning that peasants had no bread. Masked within this quip is the essential question. This is the way I'm thinking about this quote. Is freedom a right or a responsibility? Tonight, July 4th weekend, Independence Day, per the early little quips of the service, I want to talk about freedom. Is freedom a right or is it a responsibility? Is it the right to demand, to take, or the responsibility to provide, to give? Judaism, of course, is a system built on responsibility, to provide, to give. Shamor v'zachor, we say it in Chadudi. Mitzvot are never about taking, never about our demanding. Mitzvot are our obligations to do, to give, to provide to God and to other human beings. As Jews, there's no freedom from the needs of others. There's only freedom to fulfill obligations. The freedom to give that which is upon me, it's the freedom to give. Our sacred myth as Jews is not that a human being is telling us what to do. Our myth is that we learned the mitzvot that are upon us, aleinu, directly from God and Moses. There's a deep wisdom in this myth. None of us like when other people tell us what we have to do or can't do. I'm guilty. Very few of us are good at appreciating directions from others. That's why we work so hard as Jews to believe that God handed down our mitzvot. God's the author of this freedom, of this system of obligations and responsibilities. And coming from God, God willing, we'll be less obstinate, more open-hearted in doing what's expected of us. I think that the Constitution and the Torah are similar. From a psychological perspective, we humans are less resistant to rules we're to follow, limitations we're to accept. We're more open to both if they come from a sacred source. Our tradition teaches that the essence of freedom is obligation itself. It's responsibility to others, for others. And as Americans on this weekend, we ask a pressing question. Is freedom a selfish right to ignore the well-being of others? Or is freedom the responsibility to do for, to care for others? Maybe it's the responsibilities to others that Chief Justice John Roberts just voted to protect. His vote ensures that a state may not regulate abortion. Did you hear the thunder? I don't know if there's lightning or not. His vote, Chief Justice Roberts, ensures that a state may not regulate abortion to the extent that there's only one abortion clinic in the entire state. That would be a quote unquote undue burden and thus unconstitutional. Maybe the responsibility of freedom is to peacefully organize and peacefully protest. My 23-year-old nephew, an extraordinary graduate of Northwestern University, recently told us on a big family Zoom call that he's attended dozens of marches on police violence against Blacks. He's spent many hours in peaceful protests in Chicago. Not once has he witnessed violence committed by protesters. On multiple occasions, however, the police have used tear gas and other techniques seemingly to intimidate or maybe even to provoke marchers, peaceful marchers, to violence. He shared with me a Twitter document with over 700 video recordings around the country in which police have instigated aggression or violence. I say this as a former federal prosecutor. All of my work was on behalf of enforcing the law enforcement system of this country. Or maybe if I come back to this question or this proposition that freedom is responsibility, maybe freedom is the responsibility to mourn and weep with 130,000 American families who have lost a loved one, or the responsibility to worry and care for 55,000 American families who just yesterday learned that a loved one recently contracted the coronavirus. Or maybe freedom is the obligation to point out that Black lives do matter. Black lives profoundly matter. Our freedom demands that all of the work to transform a society that surely has been unjust to our Black and brown brothers and sisters. But freedom is also the responsibility to remind the world that just as all other peoples deserve to have a place called home, so too do we Jews. Those who use the sacred mattering of Black lives to disparage, diminish, denigrate Jewish lives and a Jewish homeland, they are not agents of freedom. They are a threat, a danger to freedom. Speaking of threats to freedom, freedom is threatened, in my opinion, when the leader of our land says we should stop COVID testing. It's going to just disappear. We're conquering this virus, or it's a hoax. And it's a threat to freedom, in my opinion, when that leader retweets a video of a white man in a golf cart screaming white power. And we suffer a threat to freedom when the coronavirus mask becomes a symbol of political theater rather than a critical resource to protect human safety and dignity. We do not promote the goal of freedom by politicizing the wearing of masks. Abraham Lincoln once said, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves." Any student of history knows that freedom can be used to destroy freedom. We learned from Korach last week that fake, false populism comes in the mask of freedom. Korach pretends to be the voice of the masses. "We are all holy," he says to Moses, trying to seduce the Israelites. In the guise of freedom, Korach masks his search for power. Fortunately, he did not succeed. There is something subtle and confusing, masked, I'd say, about this American moment. A seemingly innocent assertion can actually undermine freedom. Don't tell me that I have to wear a mask. You can't infringe my freedom. This is a free country. People can choose for themselves what they want to do. I personally believe that that's a fake freedom. True freedom, American freedom, is measured by our willingness, our commitment to wear a mask for others. Is it possible that freedom can actually undermine freedom? Can it be that our love for liberty, a liberty that protects and purifies us, can also contaminate us? Can it be that what liberates can also destroy? There's no question what we cherish or long for most can also undermine that which is most precious. Parshat Chukat teaches us about this very paradox. Our parsha, strikingly, is about death. Moses' dream to enter the promised land, it dies this week. Miriam breathes her last, she dies. And with her, our water dries up. Aaron dies. And with him, our people's greatest lover of peace, is gone. All of that death in our Parsha Chukat. And at the very outset of our Parsha, we're told how to purify ourselves when we encounter death, when we risk the contagion of fear, dejection, or despair. Every one of us have been the victim of death these last months. We've witnessed, suffered, struggled through so much death and loss and uncertainty and confusion. How do we become pure? That's the question of Chukat. And here's the very short answer. There's much more to say about this. Join us tomorrow morning for Torah study. You'll hear more. But in order to purify ourselves, our Parsha says we take a red heifer, we burn it, we mix it with water and sprinkle that mixture upon those who've had contact with death. That's how we purify. But we learn as well that the very process of purifying also contaminates. The one who does the sprinkling onto the person who experienced the death, he or she becomes impure from this effort to purify. The effort to purify can contaminate. This is the paradox, the mystery of the red heifer. But it's also the mystery of life, not just the mystery of the red heifer. Purity can be achieved, but the achieving of purity or the attempt to achieve purity can lead to impurity. And that, I think, relates to July 4th, to liberty, to freedom. That's the paradox of freedom. Our struggle for freedom can easily undermine our freedom. Our thirst for liberty can threaten our liberty. When leaders mislead us about the meaning of freedom, they unravel our freedom. They lead us to our death. This is not hyperbole. Masks save lives. Listen to this shocking statement by Alex Castellanos. I may be mispronouncing his last name, a longtime political strategist, is reported in the Washington Post and other places as well. Christians wear crosses, Muslims wear a hijab, and members of the Church of Secular Science bow to the gods of data by wearing a mask as their symbol, demonstrating that they are the elite, smarter, more rational, and morally superior to everyone else. I wonder, does Alex take a statin for his high cholesterol? Does he take an antibiotic for strep throat or give it to his kids? Does he get his knee or hip replaced? Does he fly on airplanes, drive a Tesla, take a CAT scan or echocardiogram? Does he have a smartphone, surf the web, use his Amazon Prime app? Obviously, that's a short list. Wearing a mask is no hoax. Scientists are sometimes right and sometimes wrong, but it's not an elite statement of superiority. It's not a distasteful infringement of our freedom. It's not a pagan nod to data gods. Torah begins with creation. Creation is all about distinctions, clear categories of nature, light, darkness, what's above, below, air, land, the sea, each category of animals. So too masks. The mask is Jewish faith and Jewish freedom. Jewish freedom means obligation, responsibility to others. I wear a mask because I owe it to you. I wear a mask because I owe it to your children and parents and grandparents. And you have the same obligation to anyone with whom you have contact as well. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs wrote this several years ago. People still think that a free society can be brought about simply by democratic elections and political structures. But democracy, as Alexis de Tocqueville said long ago, may simply turn out to be the, quote, tyranny of the majority. God forbid, I suggest, our democracy become tyranny. There are two Hebrew words for freedom, chofesh and cherut. Chofesh means freedom as in vacation, time away. From a Jewish perspective, freedom does allow us to escape the daily responsibilities of our lives, to travel to faraway places, or maybe during Corona time to close away places, nearby places. all for the goal of getting a break from work and regimen and routine. But I quote again, Chofesh is fine for individual freedom, but it does not constitute collective freedom. Society in which everyone is free to do what they like would not be a free society. Close quote. When masks are politics, our freedom or chofesh can destroy the freedom we cherish. As Jews, individual freedom is not our mission or our message. But we Jews do have a second word for freedom, cherut. Again, Rabbi Sachs, true freedom, cherut, is the ability to control oneself without having to be controlled by others. Cherut freedom is accepting voluntarily the moral restraints without which liberty becomes license and society itself becomes a battleground of warring instincts and desires. We in America are becoming a battleground of warring instincts and desires. True freedom, cherut, is wearing a mask because we are free, not in spite of our freedom, but in service of our freedom. I pray that every one of us will become freedom fighters, that we will wear our mask, our moral restraint, with pride and patriotism, that the mask we wear will proclaim our love of land and fealty to freedom. May the mask never again be a matter of politics, but a matter of faith in our freedom and loyalty to our liberty. Shabbat shalom. Will Cantor Adam, what will rise for Aleinu on page 282.
We recite Aleinu, the words of the Rabbi echo in our minds. Aleinu, it is upon us. The Takenu Olam b'malchut Shaddai, to repair, to take action to repair this world and accept the yoke of freedom and God's kingship. Page 282. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon ha'kol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יחיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Taking a moment for memory. If there are any names in your hearts for Kaddish, feel free to add them to the chat and to rise if you hear a name mentioned. On this Shabbat, we are acknowledging those still lost in the last 30 days, Sylvia Lester, and those whose yortzites fall this week, Shirley Cameron, Irving Feldman, Sally Goldenberg, Gerd Hahn, Daniel Kroll, Rita Lester, Anita Nixon, Sally Kornbluth, and Howard Trush. And all those names in our hearts. If it's your custom to rise for Kaddish Yatom, please do so now. 294. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו
אמן.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. V'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony and peace and healing on high bring that to all of us, to Israel and to all humanity. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. We say one last time, amen. And you may be seated. Gary Slobin, you're up with a few announcements, and then you'll take us into Kiddush and Mutzi.
Thank you, rabbis. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, Gary.
On behalf of the leadership and the congregation, I'd like to officially welcome you, Cantor Davis. Thanks to Jordana Levine, to Frank Abrams, and our past president, Ron Epstein, for working so hard to bring you to our congregation. I was fortunate enough to be part of the committee that brought you here. I was just actually looking at my texts that I was sending to Jordana while you were singing the first time. And here's exactly what I said. I said, I like this guy. Nice voice, good energy, good beam of presence. And I do mean that. I liked you from the moment I met you, and I think you're gonna be great. Thank you for joining our sacred and historic congregation. You'll be following a long line of trailblazing cantors at the synagogue, and I wish you a long and meaningful tenure at Temple Beth-El. Look forward to a lot more beautiful music together, hopefully live,
Exactly.
in person.
Thank you, Gary, and you also had me at Shalom.
As always, there's a lot going on at the temple. I'm sure some of you, hopefully most of you, have seen that we are starting a joint religious school program with Temple Israel. It's very exciting. It's exciting for both synagogues. We're working together to create a vibrant and exciting program for all our children. I think it's going to be wonderful for both synagogues, and only good things will come from this, I'm sure. Maybe more collaboration between our synagogues, but they have a wonderful leader in Rabbi Roth, and David Wolf will be a part of the program. Rabbi Tara is very much involved in it, so I think it's going to be wonderful for all our kids. There's a lot of other things going on at the temple, but before I get to that, I do want to say that in order to run all these beautiful programs and in order to have this amazing clergy, we have to pay for it. So I know your due statements were received maybe a month or so ago. I just ask that if you can, please pay your dues as soon as possible. If you can pay the voluntary dues, pay those as well. And if you can send more and contribute more to the synagogue, please do so. There's a lot going on for all members of our congregation, but without our commitment as members of the congregation, this can't happen. And part of that commitment requires money. So send whatever you can, contribute whatever you can. Temple Beth-El is a very, very worthy organization to contribute to. So some of the things going on at the temple. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study at 9:15 with Rabbi Tara. Shabbat morning service, Leiled, at 10:30 tomorrow morning, and Havdalah at 9 p.m. on Facebook Live. We have Erev Shabbat family services every Friday from 6 to 6:30 on Zoom. Morning Minyan and Lunch and Learn are taking a break for July, but Wednesdays at 11:30, Coffee with Clergy continues via Zoom. There'll be some special classes, Parents and Children Cooking Together with Mark and Hannah Eskin. That'll be on Tuesday, July 7th at 4. I believe that's a new date. Hebrew classes with David Wolf continue Tuesdays at 7. Tuesday at 7 will be Introduction to Hebrew Reading. Tuesday at 8 will be Hebrew Prayer for Understanding and Proficiency. Wednesdays at 8 will be Simple Conversation Hebrew. We have a few special events coming up on Tuesday, July 7th at 7. We'll have a Facebook Live event, Interfaith Young Adult Dialogue on Race, and come support our Temple Beth-El young adults. Tuesday, July 21st at 3:30 to 5, come to the Temple Beth-El parking lot for a masked, socially distanced chance for religious school families to meet Rabbi Amy Roth. This will be one of the many upcoming opportunities to ask questions and to get to know one another as we move forward with our Temple Beth-El, Temple Israel religious school merger, which will be called the Kulanu School. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Kulanu.
Kulanu, thank you. Thank you, Rabbi. Thursday, July 23rd at 7, Sisterhood Rosh Chodesh with Cantor Adam Davis. Wednesday, July 29th at 7, Tish B'Av Yom Yoga Experience with Jewish Yoga School via Zoom. Monday, August 10th, Sisterhood, first annual and hopefully last Zoom pool party.
How do you do that?
There's, okay, thank you for the challah. Thank you to the Margaloff family for bringing the challah, the virtual challah. Of course, thank you to Greg and Stu Botwinick for all their help and their technical support in making all these wonderful Zoom programs happen.
Of course, anytime.
On behalf of my family, I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. Take it from a guy whose family came from a totalitarian government-run country. This is the greatest country in the world. It is a flawed country, an imperfect country, but a great country. It's a country that's worth fighting for and a country that's worth appreciating. So happy 4th of July. Appreciate your family and appreciate where you are, because it could be a lot worse.
Amen. Amen. Beautiful. That's Gary. Thank you for these incredible words of yours.
And we're moving over to Kiddush. If you Slovens want to come back and just do the opening blessing, you don't have to. We can also just take it away. Oh, yeah, you got your Kiddush cup. You have to do.
Yay for your oldest daughter.
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagafen.
Amen. Amen. Rabbi is next on the way. You didn't get that. Drink.
Go ahead, Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav bano, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zechel yitziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'veratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Amen.
And moving over to Susan Hecht, who is going to offer the words, and we're going to offer the challah. for the blessing. If you have a challah with you, lift it on up. Oh, that's a nice challah, Kim.
I have a challah. Reach toward the screen. Everybody touch the challah.
Exactly.
Wait, slow down, Susan. We can't hear you.
Unmute. Unmute.
Unmute yourself, my dear. You're muted. Susan. We have limited powers.
Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. Beautiful.
Thank you for braiding yourself into the life of our community so quickly and so completely.
Oh, thank you.
We are going to close out with God Bless America, page 376.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's great. God
Guys, please do.
bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Happy 4th of July. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
all.
shalom, everybody.
Adam's.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam. Chiri, biri, biri, bim, bam, bim, 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 bam, bim, 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 bam.
Lisa was very good.
Okay, all right, bye.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Hello.
I thought they were all terrific.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Cantor, thank you for a
Thank
beautiful
you.
service.
Of course, it was my pleasure. Shabbat.
Yes, yes, thank
Wasn't he
you.
great?
Looking
Thank you very
gallery. Who's here? Oh, hey, Leslie and Frank are here. Hello.
Hi. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Didn't have a
Charlie Abrams, so nice to see you.
Hello. Shabbat shalom. Bill, how you doing? Unmute yourself.
Everybody unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Unmute
And you need to
yourself.
unmute.
Elaine Markowitz, unmute yourself. Susan
You
Markowitz.
picked a great
It's
kid.
unmute. Suzanne.
Carol.
Suzanne.
What?
There you go.
I figure
Carol Rustin.
everybody who's doesn't have a picture up, I figure they're like either in their pajamas or in the tub.
Hello.
I can't,
I don't know why.
it says the host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves.
Oh, that's
But
okay.
I'm unmuted.
No, you
I don't know.
can unmute.
Just go to
Hold on.
unmute.
Yeah, you just.
Stuart, some people can't unmute.
Oh well.
Is
Oh, I'm the
Stuart on?
hostess. I'm the host.
There you go.
Linda's the host, I guess.
There you go.
There you
So if you're the
I'm hanging up.
hostess,
Whoops, you hung
unmute
up on me.
everybody.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. Welcome, welcome.
go. I'm
Good, Linda.
The monster
Doris
brother
unmuted
on the
now.
table.
I'm unmuted now.
I find Kedem
Good.
great.
You're unmuted.
Okay, you can hear me, all right.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we
Elaine,
can.
Unmute yourself if you can.
Who's MG? Yes.
Could we spend a little bit more time on meeting ourselves? That would be great.
Elaine, just go to the top, press the top with the mic or bottom.
Markowitz, unmute.
Everyone's already appreciating
And
the sense of humor. at the top.
Unmute.
I like the bridge in the background.
Yeah.
It's everywhere I go. I take that, I'm not home now. I take that bridge everywhere I go.
That's a lot.
To bring God's spirit to earth. That's the kind of bridge we need. So thank you.
Nice.
Couple of people still need to unmute.
Anybody eating anything interesting for dinner tonight? Anything interesting on the stove?
I made a successful holly for the first time.
Oh,
Congratulations.
that's good.
And then proficient.
That's so easy.